Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie. If you are here for the very first time, and you are very much welcome. In today's video, I am making a series of yogurts. I call it a series of yogurts because I'm going to be making soy yogurt. I'll be making normal yogurt. When I say normal, it's just using milk. There'll also be drinkable or fruit flavored yogurt, as well as Greek yogurt. If you want to know how I do this detailing, there are other videos that I've done before. So before I continue, I'm just going to let you know a little backstory about my yogurt making. Some decades ago, I used to work as a maid in someone's house, and there was this lady who used to visit their family, and whenever she comes around, she would bring yogurt. So I was wondering, how is this thing made? One day, someone from the house just asked her, how do you do this thing? And she was explaining to that lady how she does it, and I eavesdropped, gave it a try, and that is how I learned how to make yogurt. And ever since then, even after I left that house, I used it as a source of income to, sustain myself. This is my soy milk already boiling. So after boiling the soy, like I said, if you want to see how I really did this soy, there are other videos of how I've done it from scratch. So you can get, I will try to see if I can drop the links so that you can go there and see, or just go through the channel, you will see such videos. After boiling the soy milk, I let it cool to a certain temperature, and I wouldn't really know what this temperature is because, as you can see my finger in that milk, that lady I talked about earlier said if you can submerge a finger inside the liquid, the boiled water, and you are able to make a count of 3 without quickly removing the finger, it means the temperature of that solvent is okay. But if you are unable to make up to 3 counts, it means the water is still too hot. So that is just what I've been going with all these years. I've never tried to know what temperature really it has to be. In other words, my finger has been my thermometer all this while. But guys, if you want to find out really what it is, you can try the finger method and then go ahead and try to use a thermometer, and then you approximate, or you will see the right temperature to adopt. Voila. So after the count of 3, like 1, 2, 3, it was time for me now to incorporate my milk because the temperature was just the ideal one. So as you can see, this is my milk. I'll be listing all the ingredients in the description box so that you can know the quantities of the ingredients that I used in all these things. After dissolving the milk in the soy milk, I'm just straining it through that sieve to make sure that I get rid of lumps. After getting rid of all the lumps, I set that aside, and it's time to activate our yogurt for fermentation. And in this case, we are using unsweetened yogurt. So I'm just going in with the yogurt in this bowl. I'll put this quantity you see here, it doesn't really matter. So I just went ahead. This container you see is let me say a liter, or let me say 1 kg, but I use about 500 grams of it. Mix in that whole liquid before setting it aside to ferment. One very important thing is that this fermentation has to take place in a very warm environment. So if you don't even have a thermal dish like this one I'm using, you can place it in any container of your choice, but make sure that you use something warm to cover it, or like the towels you see me putting on the dish. Just make sure that you cover it enough with things that will keep the warmth for it to be able to ferment for those 12 hours. So this dish could be enough, but I was still just trying to make sure that I retain the heat that is required for this fermentation to take place. So after 12 long hours of fermentation, the moment of truth is finally here. Check it out for yourself. The fermentation was so perfect. So as you can see, the coagulation is so good. I'm taking out this aluminum foil and I'm just going ahead to take out the excess water on top of it. But if you like yours to be a little bit lighter, you can let that water sit in there. So after draining the water on top of it, I noticed that it was so thick, so I have to reintroduce the water that I strained. So always remember that the more water you put, the lighter the consistency, and the less water you put, the thicker the consistency. But just make sure that you don't deprive the yogurt of water, else you're going to get something, or you're going to get a consistency that is going to be like fufu. So just make sure you estimate or you measure your liquids or your ingredients so well. After adding the sugar, I'm adding a bit of vanilla essence, but you can add any other flavor of your choice, or you just let it be in the natural state. So I'm going ahead to blend it now to make it really smooth before I can save it for future use. Worthy of note also is the fact that the yogurt becomes a little runny or a little light after the blending. But don't worry guys, once you keep it in the fridge or in the refrigerator, it's going to return to its normal, very thick consistency. This second segment of the video is for normal yogurt. So as you can see, this is my water and I'm just trying to place my thermal finger. So after testing and noticing that the temperature of the water is okay, I'm just going ahead to mix my milk, dissolve all that milk powder in it until it's well dissolved. And I'm just going to follow the same process for that soy. The only difference is that the liquid in here is just water, unlike the other one which was soy milk. puncture, our yogurt is ready for sweetening and storing. So the next stage, I'm just going to be demonstrating how you can make Greek yogurt. So I'm just going ahead to use this cheesecloth to do that. And it's just simple. Take or scoop the yogurt and place on that cheesecloth and let it strain. Once it strains, or once the water drains out, the very thick consistency is going to be your Greek yogurt. After straining for a considerable amount of time, here comes our Greek yogurt. I didn't bother myself making it so much or making a greater quantity because I'm not a fan of Greek yogurt. This is it, and just make sure that you smoothen it or you blend it however you want and then store it for your consumption. So that's just how you make Greek yogurt. Last but not the least is the fruit flavored yogurt I talked about. I'm adding in a bit of sugar before I'll proceed to blending it with my fruit of choice, which in this case is pineapples. So initially, I deliberately didn't want to make this yogurt for the consistency to be thick because I wanted to make kind of a drinkable yogurt, runny. I just want to have a very good flavor, and this is me here pouring my yogurt into frozen pineapples. I was already so exhausted at this point and I couldn't wait to enjoy my fresh pineapple flavored homemade yogurt with a delicious grape cake that I had just made. And guys, this is the end of our video. If you'll be trying this, kindly let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Also like and share, and please do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done so.